Welcome back to the B. Perkins Report. Coach B. Perkins, that is. Here in this episode, I'm going to be talking to you about Chapter 5 out of our book, Classroom Management. I know we discussed something before, but this one is a new topic on it within the chapter, subtopic. No, on this one it says, how does the lack of classroom management training impact students in early childhood classrooms? They state here in the very first paragraph, what is the issue? It says, as early childhood classrooms become more diverse and additional expectations are anticipated of teachers, classroom management has become significant. It has become a significant issue in relation to how teachers manage disruptive behaviors in their classroom. Early childhood classrooms are often the first chance a child has at learning routines and rules in a structured setting. Boom, right there. You see that sentence right there? Let's go back to it, okay? It says early childhood classrooms are often a chance a child has at learning routines and rules in a structured setting. See, what a lot of people fail to understand, and as you get older, you start to see it from the outside looking in, is that teachers are with these students more than parents are. So they have a direct impact into these kids' lives. So this is a perfect time to make sure that we're all on the same page and how to handle certain situations. Obviously, we got to do a great job, as an educator, understanding that not every student is the same. But that doesn't mean each individual student can get separate treatment. So we got to be able to take bits and pieces of things. What might have worked over here for this teacher? What might have worked over here for me before? Or this teacher over here? And put it all together. And then kind of find a common ground with that student. You find something that they like or anything like that, you might be able to get to them a little bit better than just, bashing them. Because once you start doing that, kids nowadays, they put up a wall. And when they put up a wall, they don't want to hear anything from you anymore. Now it's all, forget whoever is talking to me, I'm going to do what I want. So we got to do a good job on our end as being educators and understanding the student and their background before we get real harsh into the punishment. And as I think a very important thing to do as an educator, as a teacher, is handle things in your classroom first. I don't believe in running off to the principal's office just because a student decided to not listen. I don't believe in doing that, just writing a student up. I think you handle things in your classroom, teach structure and understanding. Now, obviously, you get dangerous situations or things exceed a certain point, a certain level, then yes, we'll write them up, send them to the office, detention, all that other good stuff. But I believe in handling things in your own classroom, creating that disciplinary factor, because if you don't, students are going to see that. So what are they going to do? They're going to come into the classroom, they're going to act up, and then they're just trying to get themselves out of the classroom because they don't like you. So, but if you keep them in the class, still try to keep them engaged and stay on them, you'll get more out of that, or they will personally get more out of that in their lifespan than, oh, you're not listening again. Get out of my class. I'm going to write you up. I'm going to call your mom and dad. They will get more out of you keeping them in the classroom and handling things one-on-one like an adult. I selected this issue because when I was a special education teacher, I had to deal with this a lot, and I didn't know how to handle some of the situations. I think about somebody not acting up, like as my little brother. I just grab him, put him on the ground and everything like that, but you can't do that in the classroom. So there was a lot of things that I had to learn, and they even sent me to a training, self-defense training. And you're like, oh, going there, oh, boo, I know all of that already, But you just got to be careful because even that might be too much. Student can say anything. It's a tough situation, and it's real close to borderline where you don't even want to touch the student just in case if they're having dangerous type of behavior. And it's the same thing as I tied this into coaching in our last episode. How do we handle our guys, adults? They're adults at this age. How do we handle that? Is there supposed to be some training? And this is why I've always agreed and thought of that to be a coach, you should have to have a coaching degree, a major or a minor. Not just teaching, but coaching. Because yes, they're in the same realm, but there's also certain things that are different. Because a player messing up or something, I'll just take him to the field, I'll roll him, I'll run him, do certain things like that. Can't do that in the classroom. So just finding different things that work. but I selected this issue because it is very close related to the things that I'm dealing with on a daily basis and something that I have dealt with before. One of the pros, I believe, to having more training in the classroom is everybody gets an understanding. Everybody knows the procedures or protocols on how to handle certain situations. Now, on the other end, because everything's a pro and a con, on the other end, you can get too much training, but there's certain things that go on and training can't match or copy every single situation. So not every situation is the same. So you might not have been trained on how to handle a certain situation. It might not even been talked about. It might not even been thought of. It might be a whole new situation. So that's a negative of the whole training. Let's start with the con. Con would be the law. So in my opinion, back in the day, I still wasn't born. I talked to my parents and they were telling me about these things. People used to get spanked with paddles. Yeah, that paddle will get you right, I heard. So I think it's a con to not be able to handle some situation. Now, there's a pro to this because some people might take it to the extreme and you don't want to do that. So the law is protecting some people. But, some students just need it. Good little butt whooping, that'll get your butt right. Let's be honest about that. We all had spankings when we were younger and we were growing up. A pro to the training is also being able to keep your stress level down. As, soft as that might sound, that's a humongous thing, for a teacher. Now, you can't be in the classroom stressed out because the students, they see that. They see you're stressed. So most students, especially your quote-unquote bad students, they're going to take advantage of you. You don't want to show that emotion to your students. Now, on the other hand, it is good to show emotion, but I believe having controlled emotions is the way to go. Because if you can't control your emotions, that classroom is going to eat you alive. A pro would also be, to all the training, would also be handling it the correct way. Because if you can handle disruptive behavior with a student, their academics normally is higher. The ones that are uncontrollable normally have lower academics. So being able to handle things the proper way and get into a student, then you might be able to help them out in the classroom. Sometimes students just need that extra discipline figure to help them out that they might not have at home or wherever else they're at. A con to this is it affects schools tremendously. You look at the schools and all the testing and stuff that you have going on, but if you have a disruptive student, that disruptive student can affect the person that's next to them or the person across the classroom, whoever is paying attention to that student's activities. They always tell you you're a product of the people that you hang around. When kids are young, they just want to hang around with the quote-unquote cool guy. Normally, the cool person is the one that's doing all the bad things and getting in trouble. So that's definitely a big issue. A pro is, now that we've done a lot of studies and have seen a lot of things, we are getting other agencies involved, like the PBIS, the Positive Behavior Intervention and Support. You have a lot of different groups of people that could help you out. Now, on the negative side of this is it might be too many groups. A lot of people, if they're having issues and stuff and they're just acting out and that's just their way of showing that they're having issues, they don't want to talk to a lot of other people. They just want to talk to that one person who they know that they can trust. So it's kind of hard, got to find a happy medium for the students and stuff like that. But there are things that just have to be dealt with, and it's not acceptable in school setting. A myth about classroom management is that it's easier than it looks. That is completely untrue. And I take this from a longtime football coach and the son of a longtime football coach and a teacher. I don't think it's easier as you think, because things aren't handled the same way on the court, in the classroom, on the field, in the classroom. But you get into a classroom, you might have some students that just have no regards for you or whatever you have going on. They're just going to do whatever they want. They're just here because their parents made them be here. So that's definitely a myth. It's not easier than it looks. It takes time, which is why there's training. If it was so easy, then we wouldn't have to do no training for it, right? It's just like being a teacher is so easy. But we got to take classes and get a degree for it. That's all on this episode of the Perkins Report. Look forward to talking to you guys soon. Stay tuned.